Reactive management says, let's wait until we know it's bad. Proactive management says, this might still be small, but if it's not, every day we wait could make it more expensive. Okay, we're about to disclose this month's Bonehead, which is one of my favorite segments to get into, where we can really dial in where another property management company might be falling short and how Red Door might have resolved a certain situation a little bit better. So today's Bonehead is the we don't need to bother the owner yet. Now, this a lot of times this is maintenance related because that's where a lot of the boneheads really cost the owner a tremendous amount of money. So that's where we focus a lot of these bonehead situations because we've spent a tremendous amount of money really dialing in our maintenance. So here we go. Here's how this one goes. A tenant submits a maintenance request saying there's a soft spot in a hallway floor near the bathroom. Now, nothing dramatic, no emergency language, no panic, just a note that says something like, floor feels a little spongy by the bathroom. Now, unfortunately, another property management company looks at that and then decides, let's just keep an eye on it for now. Save the owner some money, some hassle, and I hate to send them another maintenance request because that owner's going to complain. Maybe it's old flooring. Maybe the tenant is exaggerating. Maybe it's not worth bringing to the owner yet until we know more. So instead of acting quickly, they let it sit. This is a terrible mistake, of course. You already know where the bonehead's coming in here. A few days pass. Then more time passes. Eventually, someone gets out there and surprise, it wasn't just a soft floor. There had been a slow toilet seal leak causing moisture under the flooring for who knows how long. Now, instead of a relatively simple early repair, the owner's looking at damaged subfloor, probably going to require replacement, possible drywall touch-up, possible odor concerns, and a much more expensive bill than they would have had if the issue had been addressed right away. And this is a concern for the owner also, on the owner's side, a bonehead, when an owner doesn't agree that it needs to be addressed right away. But we'll get more on that in another bonehead. Of course, now the owner's frustrated because from their perspective, the real issue isn't just the leak. It's that nobody communicated. Nobody said, hey, this may be minor, but it could be the start of something bigger. Nobody said, we recommend getting eyes on this quickly before it turns into a larger repair. Nobody gave the owner visibility whatsoever. That's the bonehead move. Not because every soft spot in the floor turns into a major problem, but because experienced property management is not about waiting until the problem becomes obvious. It's about understanding which small issues have the potential to become expensive ones if they're ignored. That's where the experience matters. A strong property management company doesn't create panic over every maintenance concern, but they do understand patterns. They know that soft flooring near a bathroom, kitchen, water heater, laundry area, those things are going to deserve attention fast. They document it. They communicate it clearly. They keep the owner informed, and they move quickly enough to protect the asset. Because this is one of the biggest differences between reactive management and proactive management. Reactive management says, let's wait until we know it's bad. Proactive management says, this might still be small, but if it's not, every day we wait could make it more expensive. That's the right mindset. The best companies aren't trying to avoid bothering the owner. They're trying to protect the owner from bigger costs later. And that usually means communicating early, documenting it well, and getting the right vendor involved before a manageable repair becomes a full-blown project. So today's bonehead goes to the company that saw a warning sign, shrugged it off, and let a preventable issue grow teeth. Because in property management, the expensive part is often not the original problem, it's the delay. Mike, from your perspective, what should have happened differently in this particular situation?
Well, Chris, you said it's the difference is experience. That's really what made the difference here. Is this obviously was a lack of experienced, maybe maintenance coordinator. Clearly, management wasn't involved. Obviously, this needed to be put to the high priority list or potential high priority list, right? I mean, not actioning this obviously was the huge mistake here, and so. That's one thing that you got to think about when you hire property management companies. How experienced are they? How experienced are the people? And then here at Red Door, I was just thinking like, how would we handle that? So, first of all, our maintenance coordinators are one, they're dedicated. So we have a maintenance department. We have maintenance coordinators that's what they do all day, every day. Instead of somebody who's doing everything with all of your properties, we have people dedicated just to maintenance. So I think that's an important distinction is, do you have people dedicated just to that? I think that's a huge distinction. The other thing is, are they experienced? All of ours have several years of experience. And then the other thing is that our management has visibility on every single work order that comes in. And so not only are we expecting and knowing that our maintenance coordinators would know what to do, that would go by management, and then management would be able to flag that and then have a priority system. We also have a priority system, right? So this would be listed as a high priority work order, and it would be done by the maintenance coordinator. If not, management would catch it and flag it for the high priority. So there's a couple different ways that really should have been handled a lot better.
Yeah, and so if you're checking this out and you're trying to vet a new property management company and you've come across our website, which is being designed to specifically address concerns like this before you even get someone on the phone. And what I mean by that is we have a management pillar page that we have. So under property management services, explore around a little bit. We address major pillars of the property management search process. So how communication is handled, but in this case, how maintenance is handled. It is extremely transparent. Check out that page. You'll quickly see, we even have an example on there of how you're notified when a maintenance concern comes in, what communication you're going to see. So transparency is every step of the way here with Red Door Property Management, number one. So you're never going to be left in the dark. But back to your point, experience. That's where a lot of the magic is happening here. You got soft structure, then it's near any type of a water source. That's your immediate trigger right there that we have to get eyes on. So if it costs the owner $95, for example, as a trip charge or whatever it may be, it's 100% worth it to escape a much larger expense there just to get eyes on. And that's where experience matters. And it can be intimidating having to have those conversations with the owner, right? Well, not here at Red Door. We will have those conversations because we know it's in your best interest, even though nobody likes to hear about an additional potential maintenance expense, and we get it. We just want to save you money to improve your ROI because we know that's what's going to keep you as a long-term client here with Red Door. There it is.